In a galaxy dominated by blasters and lightsabers, swords became largely ceremonial weapons. However, in their right hands, they were just as deadly as any other killing tool. Welcome to the Kyrgyzstan Star Wars Weapons Lore Episode 13, Swords. The exact origin of the sword was unclear, but the concept of a blade protruding from a basic hilt was found across countless different cultures. Whether it be for military, religious or ceremonial use, the weapon was improved upon and modified as the years passed. With ever-improving technology, newly found alloys and changing fighting styles, many incarnations of short swords, agile rapiers, double-bladed swords, heavy broadswords and even vibro swords were created. Without a doubt, the sword was a conceptual precursor to the lightsaber. However, both weapons managed to coexist in the galaxy due to their differing pros and cons. Over the years, in an attempt to maintain their cutting edge and increase damage output, swords were fitted with alloys, crystals, minerals and even bone. Powered swords which utilised vibration technology decreased blade friction, making them more dangerous. With the creation of the lightsaber, swords were forced to adapt. In order to engage and deflect a lightsaber blade, the weapons were laced with or composed of exotic materials like cortosis, obsidian or frick. Regular sword blades comprised of metal, plasteel or highly bonded poly-layered ceramics. Because swords were essentially omnipresent in the galaxy, many Jedi and Sith chose to wield the weapons even after the creation of the lightsaber. While Dark Jedi Ludo Kresh utilised a double-bladed war sword, Naga Sadow wielded a Sith sword. During the Freedon Nad uprising, both sides of the conflict wielded swords, and nearing the conclusion of the same conflict, the spirit of Freedon Nad presented Sital and Alima Keto with two ancient Sith swords. The Jedi eventually concluded that swords were barbaric in comparison to their signature weapon, though the Sith preferred the more visceral feel of slicing flesh with metal. The Sith blades often comprised of a cortosis alloy for protection against lightsabers. While pure cortosis ore blades could briefly shorten out lightsabers, they were not very durable. Despite being classed as an ancient weapon as the Galactic Empire rose to power, swords were still widely used throughout the galaxy. Although blasters became the more proliferate weapon, the Sannyasins wielded swords during the Galactic Civil War, while modern variations like the Mustafar Bandit Sword were created. Following the fall of the Empire, Kiro, a member of the Alliance of Free Planets, used the sword during the skirmish on Kinoween to slay several Nagai soldiers. Now it's time for this week's question. Would you rather wield a sword or a lightsaber? Let me know in the comments below. In the previous episode I asked if you would prefer the manoeuvrability of the DC-15S or the firepower of the DC-15A, and I got a ton of responses, so thanks for that. In the end, it was a very tight race, but by just one single vote, the DC-15A came out on top. To have your say in future Star Wars weapons lore videos, head on over to thekyrgyzstans.com and get voting. Thanks for watching, and for more Star Wars related content, keep it locked here to the Kyrgyzstans. Since his participation in the Star Wars saga, Tim Ware has acted in 7 TV shows and 8 movies. 2 of which were River Queen, where he described his character as one of the best he had ever played, and Green Lantern, in which he portrayed the purple-skinned alien Abin Sur. However, Morrison has dipped his toes into many different waters aside from acting.